Ward, dating back to 2016's Swayze Field shooting, has been arrested and charged with new firearms offenses. State police reporting last week that 23-year-old Mario Acosta was arrested by Trooper Stephen Hannafin Wednesday night in Lawrence after being pulled over for marked lane violations. A police statement says Acosta was behind the wheel of a yellow BMW sedan with illegally tinted windows, and Acosta, along with a 17-year-old female passenger, were observed making strange movements that put Hannafin on alert. During the traffic stop, police located and seized a polymer 80 9mm handgun and an illegal extended high-capacity magazine loaded with 30 rounds of ammunition. While the juvenile was arraigned in Essex County Juvenile Court, Acosta faced a judge in Lawrence District Court, answering to several charges, including possession of a firearm and possession of ammunition without an ID card. Bail was set at $25,000. Acosta's arrest took place just shy of the 11-month anniversary of the drive-by shooting death of Nike Cologne in April's Mount Washington neighborhood. As WHAV has long reported, Cologne's May 17, 2018 murder and the arrest of his accused killer, Eddie Almonte, ties together a series of events and retaliations seemingly kicked off by the May 2016 shooting in Swayze Field. 2 people survived gunshot wounds during a gang-involved shooting at Swayze in May of 2016, while no injuries were reported after shots were fired by rival gang members in a retaliatory Temple Street strike weeks later. Haverhill police later confirmed Almonte and Acosta, along with Juan Marte, were involved in the Temple Street gunfire. The case against Cologne's alleged killer, Almonte, is progressing at the Superior Court level. And Haverhill's longest-serving mayor, James Fiorentini, was recognized for his contributions to the city by the Italian-American group Pirandello Lyceum over the weekend, receiving the group's I Migliore Best in Mind and Deed award for municipal leadership. Presented with a plaque over dinner with the group's board of directors and president, Dr. Dominic Amara, Saturday in Linfield, Fiorentini was nominated for the award by James Bevilacqua. In WHAV sports, it's the running of the Boston Marathon today. Hats off to all the area runners taking part, including Haverhill's Casey Godin, running the marathon for the 5th time for Boston Children's Hospital with Credit Union's Kid for Heart team, the owns premier martial arts studio. The Red Sox are taking on the Orioles today, and the Bruins have Game 3 of their best-of-7 Stanley Cup playoff series tonight with the Maple Leafs in Toronto. That series is tied at 1 win each. The Celtics lead their 7-game series with the Indiana Pacers 1-0. Game 2 is going to be Wednesday night in Boston. And the New England Revolution's next game coming up on Saturday night when they take on the New York Red Bulls. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source, and there's always more at WHAV.net, where you can sign up for free digital news headlines. From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is Wynn Damon.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Jagruti Dave. A fire has broken out at the iconic Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, with French fire crews battling the blaze. German prosecutors have charged former Volkswagen CEO Martin Winterkorn with fraud for his role in the company's Dieselgate emissions scandal. And Pete Buttigieg is officially running to be the Democratic nominee for the 2020 U.S. election. He'd be the first openly gay president if he wins.
Wave weather!
Now your wave weather forecast for Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley. Wind advisory running through Tuesday early morning. Mainly cloudy skies tonight, becoming partly cloudy late. Very windy with 15 to 25 miles per hour sustained. Gusts over 50 at times. Low 37, so it's going to really feel cold. We recover back through the 50s, becoming fully sunny for your Tuesday. A 20 to 30 mile per hour wind at times. Temperatures drop back into the mid-30s, mainly clear and less windy Tuesday night, wall-to-wall sunshine topping out at 60 on Wednesday. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
Sure, you're enjoying the music, but did you know you can hear comedy and drama every night? Listen to these remastered classics at 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. Only local radio can bring you this combination of news, music, and features. But only WHAV does.
WHAV, Merrimack Valley, open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents The Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Okay, I am back on the Open Mic Show, and I'm so happy to be here tonight. I hope we have a lot of things to talk about tonight, because for this first period until 6:30, the guest that was scheduled, unfortunately, was unable to make it. So, and our guest, that's Jared from Bethany, he'll be here in 2 weeks from tonight on the 29th, and just a little bit of a problem on his end that he couldn't make it tonight, but that's okay. We'll do a little open line conversation and talk about different things between now and our 6:30 break, and then we're going to have people from the Haverhill Cultural Council come in. That will be very interesting because they will be talking about all of the people, the people that are going to get the awards and who are going to be given some support for their artistic endeavors and other things. So that's our 6:30 to 7 o'clock conversation tonight. And you're always welcome to call in and join in on the conversation at 978-374-1900. And then in the 7 o'clock hour, a man about town who a lot of people know for his efforts with the Buttonwoods and with the Hilldale Cemetery. But one of the other things that he's heavily involved in is things that involve spirits and ghost hunting and that type of stuff. His name is Tom Spitalere. Tom's going to be on in the 7 o'clock hour, and he has stories that may make the hair on your arm stand up a little bit. Some pretty exciting things that have happened that he's experienced that he's going to tell us about. And he's going to tell you about a lot of other things about this extra profession that he has, a very unique profession, and he's been at it for like 10 years or more, and he really is one of the most experienced in this area in our area, in New England. He travels to other states and is involved with a lot of paranormal stuff. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, and what you'll hopefully be listening to, and maybe even joining us on the phone at 978-374-1900. We got open lines right now, though. Any topic that you'd like to speak about between now and 6:30 is a green light, so you can call in, and we can talk to you about different things. I do want to tell you that we have our regular call-in for birthdays and anniversaries, and if you would like to call in somebody that has a birthday or anniversary next month, now would be the time to do it. You can speak to me on air, or you can just speak to our producer, Chris, give the name of the person, a little bit of information, and then that person is going to be, the name will be in our hat. We'll draw that name out of the hat and next week, and that actually in 2 weeks on the 29th, and that person will win a cake that is the lucky winner for having a birthday or anniversary in May. That person will have a wonderful cake that they will be able to pick up at LBD's second-generation Italian bakery, located right on South Main Street in Bradford Square, a great place for all of your bakery needs, whether you're winning the cake or whether you're just looking for other things that you can find in any bakery. But LBD's is a special one, and they really have great stuff across the board. So go in and check it out, from breads to cakes to cookies, and you name it, you can find it at LBD's. And the other thing I have tonight is I have a giveaway of a $10 gift certificate to Easy Way Cleaners. Easy Way Cleaners is located in Bradford and Haverhill and Hampstead, and they invite you to bring your laundry to work. Easy Way Cleaners and Laundry lightens your load with its we got a guy on hold already. That's good. Easy Way Cleaners and Laundry lightens your load with its home or office pickup and delivery service. So that's why you can bring it to work. They'll come pick it up while you're at work, if that works out. So I got a $10 gift certificate, and we have to give this away And so I'm going to ask you to, let's see, we've got to come up with a trivia question. There was a big fire in the news today, worldwide recognition for a fire. If you could call me and let me know what was on fire, a terrible tragedy today, and where it is, what it was, where it is, and you'll win the $10 gift certificate. But right now, let's go to Brian, who's on the line. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Bill. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good.
And I'm going to give you what I think is the first May birthday announcement.
Oh, you have a May birthday name?
The May birthday goes to Fran, who also won last year.
Fran won last year, okay. And
so we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes. We got to get some more names, and she may or may not. We usually get a number of names in the cowboy hat. But
I'm on a losing streak right now. I lost the last couple of months, but I'm hopeful this time.
Well, you never know, and I know that you're a big. You love to get some of that cake, right?
Yeah,
some of the LBD's cake. Yeah. So
at LBD's second-generation Italian bakery across the street from Easy Way Cleaners.
Close, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, you're, I love that anybody that can actually kind of recite or quote our promos for different things, that means you're a good, steady listener.
That's right.
We appreciate that very much.
Well, I haven't been asked to write any, so I'll just go with what I got.
Well, once in a while, get somebody go in and buy you a cake too, because you can't win all the time.
So.
You can't. You got to spread.
That's right.
You got to spread it out.
Boring.
Let other people win once in a while.
It would be boring.
All right.
Now, I'm wondering about, this whole thing about, by the way, before I forget, you asked about the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris?
Yes. Are you ready to win the Easy Way gift certificate?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think you just did. All right. All right, Brian. Congratulations. And I don't know the details on how they're going to get this to you or what, but we'll make sure to get your information before you hang up, so that Chris can write it down right on the form here that I have. But you're going to get an Easy Way $10 off cleaning certificate, because you knew. Did you see some of that today on TV?
Well, I heard about it first on Facebook, I guess.
Yeah.
And then on the news.
Yeah, I happened to catch some of it, and it was just amazing. And it just caught my attention, kind of like the, not that it was similar, nobody flew a plane into it, but it was something that, you just watched it, because it started with an announcement that there was a small fire. But they were doing a $6.5 million renovation project, and they think that it may relate, after the research is done as to what caused the fire, it may relate to the construction. But what a shame! I mean, it's just gone in so many ways. I have no idea how devastating it truly is, but whether they'll even be able to leave any of the walls standing, because they spoke about the way that it's built, and it took years. They said that there were actually family members that would train their children to take over for them as they got older, and it was like generational, the carpentry and the construction, and just really sad. There's one of the greatest landmarks that people visit in any place in the world was
I've never been there myself.
Notre Dame Cathedral. I didn't go inside. I was in Paris once, and I was on a tour that drove by and pointed, and we got to see it. But we didn't have that as part of our tour package to go inside. But I did get to the Louvre, and we went into the Louvre, and I got to see the Mona Lisa. And
you did?
Yeah, very small though. I thought it was going to be like a big painting. It's not. It's I don't know, maybe 18 by 24 at the most. It was kind of small. Yeah, I thought it was going to be big, like a poster.
But I saw Michelangelo's Pieta.
You did? Yeah?
Yeah, but I didn't go to Italy for that. I was at the New York World's Fair in 1964.
Now you can say that on the radio, right? Doesn't that I'm I'm just joking. You saw Michelangelo's Pieta. Okay. That could be taken the wrong way.
Yeah,
that could be taken the wrong way, you know.
You can make some jokes with that.
Yes, I think I just did. All right.
Well, I don't know how much time is left before you have to go to a break, but, one of the things that I've been wondering about is the college admissions scandal.
Yes.
And I'm thinking that, it's hot news right now.
It is.
But what I wonder about is for people who have, lots of money and they send their kids to the best schools, and sometimes I wonder if those young people were really good enough to get in.
Well,
I don't know.
There's something that they call legacy, and if your parents or grandparents, so if you're in the blood chain, I think has always given a few extra points to the decision making.
Oh.
So I'm not sure it's ever been as cut and dry as you and I would like it to be, getting admitted to a college. And it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be years. I think there's going to be multiple lawsuits, even by parents that their children didn't get in. I think those are all. I think there's one already filed, and really? I think that it's going to stir it up. And I think that there's going to be some rethinking by the admission boards as to how they should go about looking at applicants.
Our other listeners might have some thoughts on that.
Sure. If anybody wants to join in the conversation, they can do that. And Brian, I do have to say we are a little bit over our time for a break, but I do appreciate you calling in. Always enjoy having a little discussion with you on the Open Mic Show. And good luck on winning the cake.
Thank you, sir.
Or having your birthday person win the cake. So that you can get a slice.
Well, I'll be sure to let her know if she wins.
Okay. Great. Thanks for calling in.
Have a good night.
Thanks, you too. 6:19 is the time right now on the Open Mic Show. Bill Macek here, and we're going to be here throughout the night till 8 o'clock, and you can call in and join the conversations. We have different guests coming on board. At 6:30, we're going to be having the Haverhill Cultural Council people in to discuss the awards that are going to be given out next month. And then also in the 7 o'clock hour, we have our friend Tom Spitalere, who has multiple professions, but one of them is ghost hunting, and he's involved with the paranormal. And he's quite experienced, knowledgeable about that, and we'll be talking about that in the 7 o'clock hour right here and only on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open Mic!
Bill Macek and the Open Mic Show will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900.
Boston stations aren't tuned into the Merrimack Valley, but you are. 97.9 WHAV has your local wave weather around the clock. Keep it on 97.9 WHAV.
Hi, this is Tim Coco, WHAV President and General Manager, thanking you personally for staying tuned to WHAV's local information service. Special thanks to WHAV sponsors for helping to bring you all the latest local news and all of the Haverhill and Merrimack Valley happenings. That's what the only Haverhill-based news source is all about, serving the local public, you, within the sound of my voice. 97.9 WHAV FM.
Community Spotlight.
It's off to the races with the Whittier Regional Vocational Technical High School Educational Foundation. The nonprofit's Kentucky Derby viewing party and $10,000 raffle is planned for Derby Day, Saturday, May 4th at Haverhill's Renaissance Golf Club. Join other Derby watchers dressed to the nines to enjoy appetizers before the winning raffle ticket is drawn at the conclusion of the race. Each ticket is $100 and only 300 tickets will be sold. Guests can also attend the party for $20 without a raffle entry. Tickets are available by calling 978-373-4101. Submit your own nonprofit events and announcements at least 3 weeks in advance. For best results, use the online form under the Contact tab at WHAV.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is John Lee.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
And we're back on the Open Mic Show. It's 6:22 on your Monday evening. And we're open lines until 6:30. So if you want to give me a call, 978-374-1900 is the number for you to... We still use the term dial, I guess, dial up, but it's really punching up. Punch up 978-374-1900. You know, I have to just take a minute, a little somber minute, to say how much I personally am saddened by the loss of Haverhill police officer Ozzie Hardy, and also, that we've lost one of the great ones for sure. With Ozzie passing away, he started Ozzie's Kids. I know his daughter's going to continue with that, and I know she'll do a great job. But what he started as just an idea has turned out to be something that's so special to helping out the kids in Haverhill with the toys at Christmas time. And I was saddened to hear of his loss, and paid my respects at the calling hours. And he's a guy that I know I won't forget ever, and he's the kind of guy that I think we all should look up to. And he was just something above what most of us bring to the table, myself included. He just an incredible guy. So his loss is a big loss for the city, and we just hope that what he started will continue, and I truly believe it will. But he's not going to be part of it, and that's a shame, because he was the founder of Ozzie's Kids and all the toy gifts that used to get solicited and given out. And we'll just leave it at that for now. But I just had to bring that up because I think the notoriety, and just in case you didn't know, that we lost Ozzie, that he's gone, and I'm sure he's looking down upon us. So we'll leave it at that. I also want to say that I think that we have a lot of things going on in Haverhill that are noteworthy, and one of them is that a lot of people are talking about is the pot shop locations, and whether or not there should be another ballot question. There's already a petition that's starting online for people to sign requesting that we have a ballot question, because that's the only way that Haverhill could undo what the state mandate is, because we originally on 2 occasions passed both medical marijuana and recreational marijuana at about 55 to 45 for round numbers. And so because we're in the majority, the state legislature, and I'll say my tongue's in my cheek for this one, in their wisdom, created 2 classes of communities. One class that had no choice but to accept retail marijuana shops, and the other ones that were under 50% that could decide with their local control. So that's what's happened. So we were forced by state mandate to have a percentage of our liquor licenses as locations, reasonable locations for retail marijuana shops, and that is 6 is the number. So what the council did is reviewed the whole community, none of them in residential zones, all of them in commercial highway zones, created overlays for allowance under zoning for retail marijuana shops. So with that being said, I'm going to say hello to our next caller. Hello, caller.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really saddened about Officer Hardy's passing, too. I've been a long Haverhill resident myself. I've met him many times. He's a good guy.
Oh, great guy, yeah.
Hello?
What else is on your mind?
Just a small suggestion. You said his children are taking it over?
I think his daughter has been helping out quite a bit already. That's my understanding.
I would make a small suggestion. You should bring her on the show and, talk about her dad, because he did it for a really long time.
Well, I would do that, but I think you have to give a little bit of a grieving and healing period.
Oh, no, right away.
I'm sure that that's something that I would. It's a good suggestion, and I'm sure that's something that we will probably do later on down the road. But I think
I'm saying towards Christmas time or something, because
sure,
I think the guy did it year round. I mean,
he pretty much lived it. Absolutely, yeah. It was one of his passions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a wonderful thought, and thanks for also sharing your personal feelings about Oz.
I knew him as a person and a cop, and he was a great guy. Either way, I mean, he was not. He was fair to people. That's what I liked about him.
Yeah,
very fair.
Yeah, and just in general, and I'm not saying that they're all. Everybody's the same and totally alike, but I think the Haverhill Police Department has a very good temperament with things. And there are times that, of course, they have to be extremely serious depending on what's going on, right? But they also work with people, and they try to get people to see the right way to go. And I think there's a lot of that. They're not just like headbangers in a sense, that they're not looking to just take people down. They work well with the community, and I think that overall, I think a lot of credit goes to our police chief and the superior officers, of course, but also the individual, the officers that are just out, in the cruisers, on the streets, and doing the job that needs to be done. But they also, I know, they'll stop and talk to, say, a group of kids that are hanging out, and try to let them know, to stay on the right side. But
exactly.
But thanks for saying that. Thanks for your call. What's your first name?
John.
John, thanks for calling in tonight.
No problem.
Okay.
Have a good night.
You too. All right. So we are at that time that we're going to pause for the 6:30 break. And this is the Open Mic Show, heard every Monday night from 6 until 8 p.m. We keep it pretty local here. We talk about Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley stuff, but we also talk about other things that are going on in our world. So you can always call in, but we have special guests coming in right after we take a short break from the Haverhill Cultural Council. And as soon as we get them seated, we'll have them on the Open Mic Show and talk about what they do and some of the good stuff that they're bringing to the table for people in Haverhill. Right here and only on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open Mic!
Bill Macek and the Open Mic Show will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900.
It's 6:30.
Local information and the best music. This is public radio for Greater Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley. 97.9 WHAV.
How does one man get himself into so many impossible situations? This is a question you'll probably ask yourself when you follow another hilarious adventure of Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve. Yes, Gildy's eye for the ladies and his impulsive temperament managed to entangle him in a web of riotous circumstances. Join the romantic water commissioner, his neighbors, Judge Hooker, Mr. Peavy, and all the loyal Gildersleeve household as they romp through another episode of The Great Gildersleeve.
Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. on WHAV.
Wave weather.
Now your wave weather forecast for Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley. Wind advisory running through Tuesday early morning. Mainly cloudy skies tonight, becoming partly cloudy late. Very windy with 15 to 25 miles per hour sustained. Gusts over 50 at times. Low 37, so it's going to really feel cold. We recover back through the 50s, becoming fully sunny for your Tuesday. A 20 to 30 mile per hour wind at times. Temperatures drop back into the mid-30s, mainly clear and less windy Tuesday night. Wall-to-wall sunshine topping out at 60 on Wednesday. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
Catch the wave, WHAV. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Okay, we are back on the Open Mic Show, but I hate to say this because I had all these guests lined up tonight, and see, maybe it's because it's a holiday. Maybe they were running in the marathon and they forgot that they had scheduled for tonight. But our people from the Haverhill Cultural Council have not made it to the WHAV studios either, just like our first half-hour guest canceled. So we're just going to keep the open lines then, 978-374-1900. We'll keep chatting about things that are going on. I started talking about the recreational pot shops, I'll call them. I know that the state wants them called something different, but adult marijuana or adult cannabis shops. But it's 21 and older just to get into the place. And I think that everybody realizes, and I think that the message certainly should be heard by our school-age children, that they're not to be involved with any form of marijuana, and it's against the law. So, and we hope that the people that are 21 or older are also intelligent enough to not buy for anybody that isn't at least 21. That certainly is the way a lot of kids get a hold of alcohol, is that somebody is old enough to buy, and then they give it, or they sell it back to younger kids. So we don't want to see that happening. I'm not in favor of that in any way, shape, or form. I have some concerns about what is becoming more and more allowed in the United States, and maybe you have some thoughts or concerns about it. But it seems like it's here. The voters have voted in favor of it. Not everybody is in favor of it, but I think that as with alcohol, we went through a period of prohibition with alcohol many years ago, not in our lifetimes, but that happened, and then it became, a legal substance, and under some control. There's always a small percentage of abusers, but I'm not sure that what the outcome's going to be, because a few states have already been doing this for, it's got to be at least 3 to 5 years, if not longer, that it's been around more towards the West Coast. I think California's had it for, even longer than that, in an allowable fashion. So it was always medical, but they had kind of a wink and a nod going on with their shops, from what I was told. Never been a user, but I've never been in any of those areas where they even sell it in California. But I was told that they used to have almost one-stop shopping, where the sandwich board sign would say something out around Santa Monica, along that down to Muscle Beach, I was told. And a house would have a sign that says, "Come on in for your evaluation." And they'd have a doctor there, and he or she would ask you a few questions, and then make a diagnosis and determine that marijuana would be good for you. And then you go into the next room back in the house, and then there was a retail medical marijuana shop where you would buy what you wanted to buy, and then if you chose to, you didn't have to leave. You could go back to the back porch or the next room back, and then you could, imbibe in the product. So there's one thing in Massachusetts that's still being discussed, and the regulations have not been determined, and that is what's called consumption. The State Cannabis Control Commission is supposed to have those out at some point, but they haven't done it yet. And that's the one that I think is going to be the biggest and most controversial of the topics involving recreational marijuana, and that's whether or not we should allow for, basically, instead of a bar room, it's going to be a pot room where you're going to be able to go and there'll be the open consumption of marijuana in a public establishment. So how do you feel about any of this? How do you feel about what we've done so far to try and do it in the best way possible, in our city? 978-374-1900 is the number for you to call. And, would love to discuss that or anything else. We have other things in the news. The biggest story probably on all the news today is going to be the incredible fire that happened at Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. And I did have some time to watch some of the news footage before I came to the open mic show. And it's just, it's sad. It's sad that we have lost one of the great structures. It was built over hundreds of years before it was done. Family members were it was generational in being workers on putting it together. And what appeared to be strange to me, at least from what I saw early on, is that they set a small fire, probably due to the construction that was going on, and then it turned into a raging fire. I think it was at least 2 hours before I saw any fire equipment, before I saw like a ladder truck with a person up in the cage, with a hose trying to reach the roof, but it wasn't going far enough. And I'm sure that there'll be some discussion on that. I wonder, has Paris spent enough money on fire equipment? And it's something that, as a city councilor here in Haverhill, we always work to get adequate fire apparatus for our community. But we don't have a building quite that tall. And, I'm sure it didn't have the sprinklers and all the fire safeguards that are required in new buildings today. So, but it's just sad. We'll see what they end up doing, what the Catholic Church ends up doing with their property. I'd like to think they will do something to try to reconstruct it, but it will take years, and it'll never be quite the same. Also, the antiques, the artifacts that were in that building, how many of them were just lost to the fire? So I don't have any of those answers, but I certainly know that those will be things that will be discussed, and we'll be hearing about it here in the United States, because it's a world destination. The world goes to see that amazing structure. 978-374-1900 is the number to call if you'd like to call into the open mic show. We can talk about whatever is on your mind, because unfortunately our guest for this hour has also not made it to the studios. But it is Patriots Day. How about the marathon? Did any of you run in the marathon? Are you home and listening? Did you go in as a spectator, and were you cheering somebody on that you know? Or were you just there because it's such a super event for Boston? They have the Boston Marathon. It was 123rd running, I think, literally, of the Boston Marathon, I think was today. That was the number. But it's 6-year anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombing that took place. In a lot of ways, it seems a little longer, but in a lot of ways, you never forget what those two brothers pulled off, unfortunately. You can give me a call at 978-374-1900. How about the weather? Now, do you think the weather is this global warming, or is it climate change, as it's now called, that's happening? The weather just doesn't seem to be very close to what I remember our seasons being, what I remember our severity of our weather. You know, when we got rain, we got rain. Now we get rain with, 30-mile-an-hour winds or more. And it's just a whole bunch of stuff that's changing. Our snowstorms, everything seems more severe when they happen. You know, we used to get nor'easters. We always got those. But, you know, just the whole climate does really seem to be in flux, and things are changing. And even when our seasons do kind of break, if we want to say we have 4 seasons still, I think they're not quite hitting around the dates that we have on the calendar for our seasons to be changing. And you can weigh in on any of this if you would like to give me a call, 978-374-1900. I also want to remind everybody we're still taking names for birthdays and anniversaries in the month of May. And if you call in, you can either do it on air, or you can just let our producer Chris know about who you're calling in to report on, whose name and the birth date. And if it's in May, we're going to draw on the last Monday of April a winner for the Albide's second-generation Italian bakery located on South Main Street, right in Bradford Square. And you'll get a free cake if you're our lucky winner for the May birthdays and anniversaries. Also, I'd like to let people know that if you're involved with an organization and you have any information you'd like to submit to WHAV, Community Spotlight is where you want to get that information off to. Our Community Spotlight is easy to access. Just submit your own nonprofit event, an announcement at least 3 weeks in advance for the best results. Use the online form under Contact. Hit the Contact tab at whav.net. And before you know it, your information will be on the air on WHAV, coming right from the Edwin V. Johnson newsroom. And it's always something that helps out. We have a lot of listenership. A lot of people want to know what's going on in their community. And WHAV is the only local news source that gives out that kind of information, both online and on air. Now, this show is heard not only on WHAV at 97.9 FM, but it's also online. So even if you're away, and you can tune in, because we're worldwide on the on WHAV.net, on WHAV TV. We're also on HC Media's cable channel. I think we're on channel 22, and a lot of access to WHAV. And so I think that, we appreciate your listenership, and we hope that you continue to enjoy our programming, whether it be locally or you're away and you can listen. I personally have to say that I was away last week on a business trip, but I did listen to a portion of the open mic show, because that's real easy. You just go to the WHAV page online, and I did it on my cell phone. And then you hit that you want to listen live. You just hit the little on button, and like magic, it shows up in your cell phone. So you can do all those kind of things, because our general manager, Tim Coco, is really on top of this stuff, and he wants to make sure that the access is there and to get all the information to you as soon as possible. It's 6:46 right now, and it's time for us to take another short break. on the Open Mic Show. We'll be back, and we'll go until 7 o'clock. And then I know we have a guest coming in because I spoke to that guest earlier today. And I expect that he'll be in studio right after our 7 o'clock top of the hour news. And I'm Bill Macek. Thanks for listening to the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic!
Bill Macek and the Open Mic Show will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900.
You're riding the local wave, 97.9 WHAV. And if you're listening on TV, it's compliments of the board, staff, and members of your local public access channel. Thanks for being tuned to the Merrimack Valley's Wave, local news and best music. 97.9 WHAV.
Catch the wave!
Melinda's Garden Moments help gardeners create and maintain a healthy, beautiful garden with ease, inside or out, and all year long. This is Melinda Myers, inviting you to tune in every weekday morning, right here on WHAV. You'll learn creative ways to grow your own vegetables and herbs while beautifying your landscape. Eco-friendly lawn care, flower garden design basics, unique container gardens, attracting birds and butterflies to the landscape, and much more. Again, please join me weekday mornings for Melinda's Garden Moment for a very environmentally friendly approach to gardening. Remember, only local radio can bring you this feature opportunity, but only WHAV does.
WHAV Open Mic!
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
And we're back on the Open Mic Show, and we are going to take it until 7 o'clock with open lines at 978-374-1900. And we are going to be talking with Tom Spitalere in the next hour about one of his passions and one of the things he's good at, and that's dealing with ghosts. And he's going to tell ghost stories. But he does a lot of other things, too, that are kind of related to that whole thing. As a matter of fact, he's in the studio now. So I think we should wait a minute. I'm getting another whiteboard message here. If she could only hold it straight, I could maybe... Alison is here. Oh, okay. Well, let's bring her right into the studio. This is live radio, so let's bring Alison in, and we'll have a little conversation with Alison. Alison is from the Haverhill Cultural Council, and while the other guests have not shown up, come on, bring them right in. Oh, actually, because this is a holiday, we are not on HC Media, so nobody's really watching, unless they're watching on our WHAV TV or WHAV.net. But that's happening. Hi, Alison. How are you?
Good. I thought we were a little later today.
Thanks for coming in, huh?
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Come on in. Can you pull up a chair? Because this is live radio in action, and we're going to give you a microphone.
Well, that's nice of you.
And that helps, right? It helps when you're doing radio to have a microphone.
You know, I had a couple other people coming with me.
I thought we did, yeah. No,
but we were told we were going to be here at
at 7?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought I had you down for 6:30 to 7.
So you've been talking all by yourself?
I've been doing a little bit of a monologue. We've had a couple of calls, but talking. We've been filling because my believe it or not, I had somebody from 6 right after the 6 o'clock news, which is like 6:07 to 6:30.
Okay.
That person canceled too because of a conflict in his schedule. So
see, that's why they need professionals like you. You can just fill all that space with fascinating
somebody
facts.
That can, yeah, that's it. We've been talking about everything. So, but let's now. Do you have more people coming?
I do.
You do.
As I said, we all thought we were going to be here around 7.
All right. So you know what? We'll hold you over a little bit when you all get here. But
fine.
Can we talk a little bit about the Haverhill Cultural Council?
Sure.
You know a little bit about that.
I know an awful lot about the Haverhill Cultural Council. I'm in my 6th year with the council.
And you,
my 3rd year as the chair.
You're the chair, right?
Yeah. And we're having a big event coming up, which is May 15th, and that is at 7 p.m., and that's over at 10 Welcome Street at the Citizen Center.
Yeah.
And that's an event where we'll be showcasing all of our different grantees, everyone that's earned a grant, and that's 28 different groups for different programs, and that's about $34,000 and change that we're able to distribute.
That's a great amount of money to help out our local artists in a way, right?
Right, and we are all of us are volunteers, and we're appointed by the mayor, and we are a local cultural council that is supported by our parent, which is the Mass Cultural Council. And the whole goal is that we understand that culture brings people together, it boosts the economy, and we want to really spark creativity in people in our community and to share that and create a spot where it's accessible for everyone to come together and share different cultural events.
But it's competitive too, right?
What do you mean by competitive?
Well, you have more applicants than you do dollars.
Oh, yes, we do. And that is always a really hard point for us when we have to evaluate.
Make tough decisions.
Make very tough decisions. Yeah. And we base a lot of those decisions on criteria that we put forward to everyone as they apply. And we're really looking for events that can target all different scopes of people, and also that will help to get the most people involved.
And probably nurture certain things that you see a little spark of of light from.
We do that a lot. We give them initial funding with the hopes that if they're creating a program that will go on and on, that they will be able to do the funding themselves.
Great. Well, now tell me, how often can somebody make an application?
There's only one application period, and that's the beginning of September to October 15th every year. And you apply at the Mass Cultural Council website, and I believe that's massculturalcouncil.com. Might be an org or something or other, but if you Google Mass Cultural Council, you'll find it, and then you go in through the local cultural council programs, look for Haverhill, and then it'll give you all the criteria.
Great. Yeah. So, but can they look at the site now and
you can look at
mark their calendar?
Absolutely, mark your calendar however you'd like. We really want to encourage new people to apply. We want to encourage different types of programs. Some of the programs have been really unusual this year. That we are supporting the Happenstance Film Festival, which is an independent horror film festival here in Haverhill, and this is their third year. They did it the last 2 years at Chunky's, which is no longer with us.
Well, unfortunately, we've lost that.
And they're moving it to the Elks, and that's June 15th, I believe, on that one.
June 15th, okay.
But that's not for kids. We have kids programs. That's an adult
But see,
program.
there it shows you're taking care of different categories and different types of events.
And I love seeing things like my dad lived in a senior living place for a while, and so we also see that we support the seniors. The Bethany communities, we have 3
That's who was supposed to be here earlier, the 6 o'clock
was
to
that
6.
Karen?
No, it was Jared.
Okay.
Jared, yeah.
So, yes, she's one of our great
But he's coming in 2 weeks.
Well, it all works out. Yeah. So what we're doing with them, and this is the second, I believe, time that we've supported their arts through the Eyes of Ages. And that's a program where we're helping to fund a variety of arts programs, learning for the seniors that are in those communities. And then in the fall, they come out and they give an exhibit that the public is invited to see what they've worked on. And it ranges from music, and there's guitar lessons and piano lessons and different types of art that I've never even heard of before, and quilting and the ceramics, everything like that is available.
It's amazing, some of the things that you don't know about that are going on, especially in the senior communities. There's a lot of talent there that they want to, you want to nurture them, even as seniors. You want to help them make the most of what they do.
And it might be a little bit because I'm getting older too.
Yeah, me
but
too.
But I see
that
and I say, hey, I don't want to sit around with my feet up. I want to be doing things and still creating as I get to an older age. And we're really happy to be able to provide that opportunity.
Yeah.
And we like mixing up the ages too.
That's true.
For the benchmark property that we have, so the Haverhill Crossings, is that the name of it?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they are having the Merrimack Valley Concert Band goes and performs there, and you're invited to bring your children and bring people of all ages to attend that concert. And so again, we're mixing all the age groups.
That's
there.
great. Yeah, my mother was also in one of the Haverhill nursing homes for a couple of years, and they'd bring in entertainment. Those were her happiest days. When there were different things, arts and entertainment. It was great.
That and having the young people there really meant a difference.
Yeah,
made a difference to
does.
my dad.
He
loved seeing the young people come in and they would engage or play games or just sit and chat.
And sometimes the adult gets to mentor the younger person to give them a reason to promote whatever their talent is.
And my dad was an attorney, and so several of the staff that worked there would always come to him with their legal questions. and my father's mind was very sharp till the very end, and so he was able to counsel them. And I got a lot of little notes from people saying, "Hey, your dad told me how to do this."
That's great. Yeah. So we're gonna pause at 7:00. You got a couple more people coming in, and we're gonna talk a little bit about maybe who's going to be getting awards, or are we going to keep that all?
I'm not going to keep that a secret because I want to give as much publicity to these fabulous programs. Plus, we have a lot of programs that have already occurred, so it's easy for me to say those.
Okay.
Do you want me to talk about that now? Take a pause? Or what would you like me to do?
We can't. We got about 3.5 minutes before we take a pause, so we got to talk. Let's keep it as a get people to hold over, that they're not going to get that information unless they wait until you come back after
Excellent
7.
and surprising information to come.
It's called a teaser. We're going to tease them. That's right. So some of the recipients, or maybe most of the recipients, will be announced after the 7:00 top of the hour information.
Sure.
All right. Okay. I'm speaking with Alison Colby-Campbell, who is the chairperson for the Haverhill. It's the Haverhill Cultural Art. Is it just Cultural Council?
Cultural Council.
Cultural Council. Yep. And she volunteers along with other people because this is such a great thing to do, and it's just another one of the great things that happens in Haverhill. I think we live in a really special city.
I think we do, and we've got 12 great members on the council right now, so it's a very vibrant group with a lot of different interests.
And that all helps. And that's part of what I always say is the best thing about Haverhill is it's people. Because you do have people that volunteer, people that care, and people want to get involved.
And they're passionate.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So who is Nate coming in?
Nate should be coming in. Nate was the one who coordinated this
yes,
for us.
That's right. Yeah.
And then we're also, so that's Nate Webster, and he is our treasurer, and he is also our publicity guy.
Okay.
And then we also have Hartel Johnson. Everyone knows Hartel.
I know Hartel, sure.
And Hartel is our new vice chair.
Okay. Great.
All right.
Well, that sounds like something people definitely should stick around for. I mean, not to say that you and I aren't doing a great job, but we're holding back a little bit.
Sure. We've got a group of gabbers coming in,
That's it. Yes, with a lot of information. And we're going to be here until 8 o'clock tonight. And we do. I did see through the glass that our guest after your segment is completed is Tom Spitalere, and he's involved with ghost hunting and the supernatural
I've
stuff.
interviewed him before.
So you know this.
I know a lot about this.
Yeah,
yes.
It's something that I've always wondered about, but Tom is pretty sure that we got the occult out there in a way that.
Well, I think you're talking about spirits that don't lose a presence. And that's kind of comforting to think that your soul goes on and that it can communicate when it needs to.
Right. In a good way.
In a good way. Those scary ones, I don't know. Keep those out of my life.
Those are just for Hollywood and theaters, right? Okay, we're going to take a break right now. This is the Open Mic Show. Bill Macek here, and we're going to be speaking to Alison Colby-Campbell and Hartel Johnson and Nate Webster from the Haverhill Cultural Council. Right?
Perfect.
Okay, got it that time. All right. And I'm not working with notes or anything. I'm just...
You're good.
It's all
You're
up here, yeah. We'll be right back on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open Mic!
Bill Macek and the Open Mic Show will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900.
It's 7 o'clock.
WHAV LP Haverhill.
Here's the latest WHAV news. I'm Wynn Damon. A Haverhill man tangled up in the city's so-called gang war dating back to 2016's Swayze Field shooting has been arrested and charged with new firearms offenses, according to state police last week. 23-year-old Mario Acosta was arrested by Trooper Stephen Hannafin Wednesday night in Lawrence after being pulled over for marked lanes violations, according to a police statement. Behind the wheel of a yellow BMW sedan with illegally tinted windows, Acosta and a 17-year-old female passenger were observed making, quote, strange movements that put Hannafin on alert. During the traffic stop, police located and seized a Polymer 80 9mm handgun and an illegal extended high-capacity magazine loaded with 30 rounds of ammunition. While the juvenile was arraigned in Essex County Juvenile Court, Acosta faced a judge in Lawrence District Court answering to several charges, including possession of a firearm and possession of ammunition without an ID card. Bail was set at $25,000. Acosta's arrest took place just shy of the 11th-month anniversary of the drive-by shooting death of Nike Cologne in Haverhill's Mount Washington neighborhood. As WHAV has long reported, Cologne's May 17, 2018 murder and the arrest of his accused killer, Eddie Almonte, ties together a series of events and retaliations seemingly kicked off by the May 2016 shooting at Swayze Field. 2 people survived gunshot wounds during a gang-involved shooting at Swayze in May of 2016, while no injuries were reported after shots were fired by rival gang members in a retaliatory Temple Street strike weeks later. Haverhill police later confirmed Almonte and Acosta, along with Juan Marte, were involved in the Temple Street gunfire. The case against Cologne's alleged killer, Almonte, is progressing at the Superior Court level. And a more than 30-year veteran Haverhill police officer was placed on paid leave Friday for allegedly displaying handcuffs and putting minority students in fear over their family's immigration status. Patrolman Stephen Ianelfo, assigned as a school resource officer at Constantino School, told students at the school last Wednesday they could be deported if they are inside the United States illegally, according to at least one parent's complaint. State Department of Education figures nearly half of the school's 958 students are classified as Hispanic, and more than a quarter of the students' first language is not English. Details of the exchange were not made public, but Haverhill Police confirmed Friday that Ianelfo was notified by letter on Friday, with Captain Robert Pistone, department spokesman, saying that Officer Ianelfo has been placed on paid administrative leave pending an internal investigation. According to several teachers who declined to be named, police interviewed Constantino faculty who had overheard the classroom discussion. Last September, the Commonwealth issued new guidance about the role of school resource officers. A model agreement between schools and police departments suggests one goal should be to foster a safe and supportive school environment that allows all students to learn and flourish regardless of race, religion, national origin, immigration status, gender, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, and socioeconomic status. Attempts to reach Ianelfo by telephone were unsuccessful. And Haverhill's own Tom Bergeron would be proud. City Police Officer Guy Cooper and Jennifer Borislow, the founder of Methuen's Borislow Insurance Agency, were among the local stars to dance the night away for a good cause April 6th in the 5th annual Stepping Out with the Valley Stars Gala to benefit Emmaus. Modeled after the TV show Dancing with the Stars, hosted by Tom Bergeron, the night featured area celebrities and pro dance partners strutting their stuff in choreographed routines. Partnered with Victor Perez, Borislow won bragging rights after wowing judges and dinner guests with a routine to the music of Boogie Wonderland. Others dancing in this year's show included project manager Melissa Coe, Merrimack Valley Credit Union's Digna Johnson, Jose Oliver of Auto Fair Subaru, Haverhill Recreation Department Director Vinnie Willett, and Jason Petro, creator of Haverhill-based energy drink brand CEO. Through the event and a companion online auction, Emmaus raised more than $130,000 to help Haverhill area children and families in need. The housing nonprofit assists homeless and formerly homeless locals rebuild their lives through shelter opportunities and education programs. And Haverhill's longest-serving mayor, James Fiorentini, was recognized for his contributions to the city by the Italian-American group Pirandello Lyceum over the weekend, receiving the group's Migliore Award for Municipal Leadership. Presented with a plaque over dinner with the group's board of directors and president Dr. Dominic Amari Saturday in Linfield, Fiorentini was nominated for the award by James Bevilacqua. Fiorentini attended the ceremony with Haverhill's First Lady, Martha Fiorentini, and his sister, Ann Savinelli. In WHAV Sports, it's the running of the Boston Marathon today, and we wish the best for all the Haverhill area runners, including Casey Godin, running the marathon for the 5th time, and he's running for Boston Children's Hospital with Credit Union's Kids for Heart team. He owns Premier Martial Arts Studio in Haverhill. Elsewhere in sports, the Red Sox are taking on the Orioles today, and the Bruins play Game 3 of their best-of-7 Stanley Cup playoff series with the Maple Leafs tonight in Toronto. The series is tied at 1 win each. The Celtics NBA playoff series with the Indiana Pacers will have Game 2 played Wednesday night in Boston. Celtics lead that series 1-0. And the New England Revolution will be taking on the New York Red Bulls on Saturday night. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. And there's always more at WHAV.net, which is where you can sign up for free digital news headlines, and you can do that today. From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is Win Damon.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Jagruti Dave. A fire has broken out at the iconic Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, with French fire crews battling the blaze. German prosecutors have charged former Volkswagen CEO Martin Winterkorn with fraud for his role in the company's Dieselgate emissions scandal. And Pete Buttigieg is officially running to be the Democratic nominee for the 2020 U.S. election. He'd be the first openly gay president if he wins.
Wave weather.
Now your wave weather forecast for Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley. Wind advisory running through Tuesday early morning. Mainly cloudy skies tonight, becoming partly cloudy late. Very windy with 15 to 25 miles per hour sustained. Gusts over 50 at times. Low 37, so it's going to really feel cold. We recover back through the 50s, becoming fully sunny for your Tuesday. A 20 to 30 mile per hour wind at times. Temperatures drop back into the mid-30s, mainly clear and less windy Tuesday night, wall-to-wall sunshine topping out at 60 on Wednesday. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
WHAV is on Facebook, on air, 24/7, and online all the time. This is 97.9. 97.9 FM, WHAV.
Catch the wave, WHAV. Merrimack Valley. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Okay, we are back on the Open Mic Show, and in case you happen to be watching online, it's Bill and Alison still, and the other two members from the Haverhill Cultural Council is they're lost. They must, maybe they didn't.
Haverhill's a very big city.
It is one of the biggest in the Merrimack Valley, I think, 36 almost square miles.
Right.
Yeah. I always use the analogy compared to Lawrence, which is only 6 square miles, because then people visualize. And Lawrence has, I don't know how many thousands of people more than Haverhill, but I'd say at least 10 to 20,000 more people, and they're 1/6 the size of Haverhill.
And I think what I've read is that we're the 3rd largest geographic area, depending on how you count it, in the state.
Really?
So I know Springfield was larger than us, but I do not remember what the second one was.
Worcester.
Is it Worcester?
Worcester. I think Springfield used to be the 2nd largest after Boston in the state, and then Worcester took it over.
But you're talking population.
I'm talking population.
I'm talking geographic area.
Okay, you're talking area. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't know about Worcester, but
yeah, I don't think Worcester's that big.
Springfield's bigger, I think.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we think we're very fortunate to have the areas, the rural settings, the farms, the lakes. We even have a castle and
a ski mountain,
a ski mountain, right?
Vineyard.
I think it's 7 golf courses. So
you have to take up golf.
You're right. I mean, you can't find any of that in. Not to knock Lawrence, but because they're such a small footprint, they can't have those things.
No, and I think that's really what gives us so much opportunity with the Cultural Council to have such a broad variety of programs to sponsor. When you talk about culture, a lot of people don't know what that necessarily means, and they just think that it's arts and crafts and maybe music and dance.
Right.
But it's much deeper than that. It includes history. It includes the sciences that make your life work. So cooking is part of your culture.
Okay, yeah, of course.
And you're talking to Tom Spitalere later, and he does the Hilldale Cemetery. So that's part of the history and fabric of our community that would also be eligible for a grant.
So while we have a little bit of time left, Tell me, let me in on some of the winners.
All right.
Who were the big winners?
Well, we had a couple of theaters that just took place, a couple of plays. So we supported the Pentucket Players with their recent production of Mamma Mia, which, by the way, was fabulous. Those voices were outstanding. And we also supported the Y that did Legally Blonde Jr.
Oh,
and
nice.
that was really a great performance. And it's nice to see those young kids really get out there and test their chops at acting. They are so far more advanced than I ever was when I did high school and young theater.
I'm sure you did just fine.
No, but they all have lessons all the time now, and we were always winging it, you know.
Yeah,
and so
that's
it's really
true.
nice to see that. I told you about the Horror Film Festival.
Yeah.
We also have the Veterans book that Phil Brown wrote.
Okay.
We helped to sponsor that so that could be in publication.
Nice.
And we've got, oh my gosh, there's so many different things. The switchboard, you know, the gallery station, place where you can kind of do all sorts of creative things.
Yeah.
They're doing a curated art walk around Haverhill, and that will be later in the fall. And we also support things that everybody knows. The River Ruckus, we support them this year. Christmas Stroll, we support them as well.
How about Creative Haverhill?
Creative Haverhill is a separate group.
Okay.
So they might put forward a program that they want sponsorship of, but we don't have one now.
You don't. Yeah. Okay. I hear you.
We in the past we did. You know when they did the movies by the river?
Yes.
That was something that we sponsored,
right.
and that was through Creative Haverhill. Right now we're doing movies at HC Media through Popcorn Roulette.
Okay.
And that's kind of an interesting program where people can call in, and it's almost like a dare. Call in and say what you think we should see, and then they'll push that movie forward. The next one I think is they're Friday night movies, so it's the Friday the 26th, if that's the Friday. And that one's going to be Princess Bride, which I think everybody thinks is their favorite movie. Anyone of a certain age, they all love that movie.
Yeah, I've heard of the movie. I honestly haven't seen it.
Okay, that's all right. It's
maybe
really probably not
watch.
targeting you anyway.
Not targeting my demo.
Not so much. No, come on.
All right.
Let's see. What else have we got going on here? I think that we have a photo studio that we're helping to get up and running, and that's the River's Edge photography studio, and they do photographs of people primarily, and they're working with the veterans too.
Yeah.
We had at the Y again, we had a Caribbean cultural tour, and then recently, and at Nettle School, it was in early February, was the Asian Cultural Appreciation Night, which is really interesting because you were talking about people with passion. And Su Lin Leung started this program to bring in some of the culture around the Chinese New Year for the Nettle School. And she'd been doing it for a couple of years. And this year she asked for a grant to try to make it bigger and more exciting and more accessible.
Very nice.
Yeah.
But I can tell just from all the things you're saying, you have to spend time and be dedicated to be the chair in particular, but even be a member of the 12. You said there's 12.
Right.
You plus 12, or
no,
you're
12 total.
You're in the 12
right,
total.
Right.
That could lead to a stalemate, though. You get 6 to 6.
It never happens.
It never happens.
It never happens. A lot of the things, I can't imagine anything being 6 to 6, but it's a group that we really, when we are conflicted about something, we go back to what the Mass Cultural Council rules are and what their priorities are, and we have a list of our own priorities on our Haverhill page in the Mass Cultural Council.
I can hear the diversity, though. There's so many different things that you look at and you help support. That's really neat.
For example, another great program that we did, and I'm telling you a lot of the ones that have happened, all right? And I love to go to as many of them as I can. So I went to Pose, had the celebration of Black History Month at Buttonwoods.
Yeah.
And they invited all sorts of people to do however they wanted to celebrate Black history. It was a pretty open thing. Some people danced or sang or did recitations from famous African-American people, or they did poetry of their own feeling about their own experience as a Black American.
Nice. I actually had Kat Hobbs Everett on the open mic show in Black History Month. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of good information. So interesting.
Oh, and it was really great to see how much more the city did this year for Black History Month than I've seen in the past. There was something going on all the time, and I could not make it all, but
yes,
it was impressive to see.
Me too, but it was really good. Now, okay, so you have a big event coming up. So let's just tell everybody where they can maybe come and enjoy the presentations and all that goes on.
All right, so our big event is the grant recipient reception. So we have... that is going to be on May 15th at 7 o'clock it starts, and it's at 10 Welcome Street, the Citizen Center. And we will have some of our grant recipients performing. and we have others that are going to display what they're doing. And each one of the grant recipients that can be in attendance will give us a short 30 to 1 minute elevator speech, basically, on what the program was that they're bringing to Haverhill.
Very nice. Now, if somebody wants to look that up online because they didn't have their pencil going quite fast enough.
You know what the best place to find out a lot of things that are going on in Haverhill is to come to our Facebook page, the Haverhill Cultural Council Facebook page.
Okay.
We list the events
That works.
before they're going to happen, and we'll make sure that this is up there and tagged to the top, pinned to the top of the page so that you'll know exactly where to go.
That sounds great. Well, I want to thank you for showing up tonight for this discussion. No.
Can I come back at 7:30 when I think the rest of the people will be here?
We got to let Tom Spitalere have some airtime as promised.
I understand. That's totally fair.
We'll see. We'll see if the others even show up. Maybe we'll drag them in. But anyway, we can bring you back again, too.
If we could do that before my event, I'd love it.
When is it? May 15th. We can maybe
Yeah.
slide you in for a segment.
That would be awesome, because I'd really like you to meet some of the other people on the team.
Okay.
Who will have much different ideas of which ones
I
are
know
the best.
Hartel and Nate, but other people should get to know them too.
Right.
So or maybe some other people. But let's plan on that. We'll talk after tonight. Okay.
Sounds like a deal.
All right. I guess I'm gonna try to contact you because the conduit between myself and Nate for whatever reason broke down.
Now, Nate,
but I'm not trying to
can I
fault
just say-
anybody. Nate's a great guy.
Nate's been brilliant.
He's a great guy.
He gets PR out faster than
Yeah.
anybody I know, and I know that he's
No,
traveling
was
in
good with
1,000
me.
directions. So.
Yeah, but something happened tonight. It must
Something
be
went awry.
in the maybe Tom Spitalere can diagnose this.
I think it's the ghost that
It may be.
they messed with our computers so
Somebody
that Tom would have more time to talk.
has made this night very different, but that's okay. We'll survive. Okay, Alison, thank you for coming in. Always
Lovely
a
to
pleasure.
see you.
Great to see you, and we'll see you again soon, right here on the Open Mic Show. We'll be right back with Tom Spitalere on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the Open Mic Show will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900.
Boston stations aren't tuned into the Merrimack Valley, but you are. 97.9 FM has your local wave weather around the clock. Keep it here on 97.9 FM, WHAV.
Hi, this is Tim Coco, WHAV President and General Manager, thanking you personally for staying tuned to WHAV's local information service. Special thanks to WHAV sponsors for helping to bring you all the latest local news and all of the Haverhill and Merrimack Valley happenings. That's what the only Haverhill-based news source is all about, serving the local public, you, within the sound of my voice. 97.9 WHAV FM.
Community Spotlight.
A Trivia Night fundraiser to benefit Haverhill teachers' creative classroom projects takes place Saturday, April 27th at Barking Dog Ale House in downtown Haverhill. Check-in begins at 6:30 p.m. with the competition starting at 7. Before April 19th, the early bird entry fee is $30 per person. Afterward, the fee is $35 per person. Teams of 2 to 10 members are required to register and pay the early entry fee in advance by going to the Foundation's website at haverhilleducationfoundation.org or by calling 978-697-5620 for a registration form. The top teams will receive $50, $100, and $300. Submit your own nonprofit events and announcements at least 3 weeks in advance. For best results, use the online form under the Contact tab at WHAV.net. In the Edwin B. Johnson Newsroom, this is John Lee.
WHAV. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Okay, we are back on the Open Mic Show, and we're shifting gears here this hour. It's 7:20 right now, and you can join in anytime during the conversation with Tom Spitalere. 978-374-1900 is the number for people to call in. And Tom, you do a lot of different things. You know, we could talk about...
I do?
We could talk about...
I thought I was a shy guy.
We could talk about different things. You're involved with history. You're involved, with cemeteries, which is kind of historic. And you've helped improve the cemetery, the Hilldale Cemetery, from the sad state it was in when you and a handful of other people decided to step in and try to make it happen. Little by little, you're bringing it back.
Yeah, we have been. It's about now 45 to 50% reclaimed.
Yeah, which is really nice for the people that are there. And, they deserve to have perpetual care. Is this something that you're trying to say you provide?
Well, it's in our bylaws. We've been doing the best we can, this group, since it's been 10 years, March this year, that I took that over.
Yeah.
March 09, it was, March 09 was the official.
It's been that long.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
But I really wanted to have you and I have a little segment about your paranormal ghost busting or whatever you want to call it.
The scary stuff, some people call it.
The spooky stuff.
The spooky stuff.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
And tell me, a little bit, how'd you get into this?
Well, I've always been able to sense and feel things.
Really?
All around. Yeah. So I had an interest in it. And then there was a show that I used to watch that sparked my interest even more. Not into the ghost segments.
What show?
But actually into the cryptozoology.
Cryptozoology.
Yes. It was called Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, I remember that show.
Robert Stock, yeah.
Yeah.
And I got real interested in it, and I started doing stuff with a cassette recorder and a 110 camera. Do you remember those?
The film 110 film. Yes. And the younger people, if they're listening, going, film? What's film?
Right.
I just use my cell phone.
Yes.
So anyway,
I've also used something else too.
A 110 film camera.
Right, and I also used
probably
something
made by Kodak.
Kodak, correct.
Right?
Yep.
Did it have the little flash cube on it too?
It did.
The little square cube that automatically turned around.
Yeah. And I also used occasionally, not that often, until I figured out how to do it, because I'm not that computer technology. I'm book smart, but when it comes to computers and cell phones, my 5-year-old niece knows more about that stuff than I'll ever dream of.
They're that generation.
I used something called a reel-to-reel. You remember them?
I remember reel-to-reel, sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, your earliest paranormal investigators, Dr. Hans Holzhaus, Ed and Lorraine Warren, they would have used that stuff.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have digital recorders today.
Nope.
And in fact, I like using the old cassette tapes.
Because they still work.
If you're listening and you're a paranormal team, digital is great because you download it, you look at it, you can see the little lines where people talked, and you can save some time.
Yeah, we do that here.
Yeah. But the problem with digital is it runs at a different frequency. So there are things, if I ran a cassette recorder and a digital recorder at the same time and did the same EVP, electric voice phenomena section, I might get something on the cassette. It might take longer for me to find it than the digital.
Okay, yeah.
And same with flash photography. Flash photography, I'd rather use a film camera. For you young ones, there were film cameras back in the day.
Yes, there were.
I'd rather use film camera than digital. And my DVR system, if you call it a DVR system today, that's what they call it on TV, so we'll keep it at that. My team loves moving this system around. It's a 9-channel DVR system. It's got its own TV, VHS player, and its own wires that go out over 150 feet on all those cameras.
No kidding. Wow.
So it's a lot of setup work.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's 9 TVs, 9 VHS.
It's like a portable TV studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it records at a slower pace so that you will actually pick up more stuff.
Okay.
than you will with the newer stuff. Again, easier. I'm not saying it's bad. I just have better luck
You
with
get
old
better
school
results
stuff.
with
Yeah.
the other equipment. Sure. Yeah. So, all right. So, tell me about what you do. You get hired to do certain things.
Yeah, we get called in. And we'll get a call. We average anywhere between 80 to 100 to 110 cases, radio appearances, and other appearances throughout the year. Yeah.
Well, that's...
And in 10 years, we've acquired a lot of...
It's busy.
It is busy,
Yeah,
yes.
it keeps you busy.
You know, this being a 10-year anniversary is a special time. So we get a call in and... I got this going on. Okay, what's going on? Okay, so my keys get removed. Oh, they're on the table there. I go to bed and then wake up in the morning, they're gone off there. Now you're running around frantic, as you probably have when you misplaced your keys for work.
Yeah.
And they were misplaced. And then the keys reappear right where they were. He goes, how did I miss them? The lights flicker. We get some of those. Then we get some of the other ones where, Tom, I was laying in bed, something choked me. Oh, that's a little more serious.
Yes. Yeah.
I smell like rotting garbage. Oh, yeah, that's a little more serious. So we'll go on anything. We'll go help people out, try to figure out their problems.
Wow.
And history and the paranormal and science all go hand in hand. Because a lot of the stuff I could track for is history. Prime example of that, there was a house. We didn't formally investigate it as a team, but I was actually brought in myself. Hampton Falls, New Hampshire. I talk about this one publicly. I'll just say the town. And this house was on the market. It sold. They developed the backlands into more housing.
Yeah.
Like they're doing all over New England. And then the front house sold again 6 months later. This is while the economy was still good, before it dropped.
Okay.
The house would sell, and all of a sudden, long story short, it kept selling. I was up at the Southampton Historical Society when one of the owners came in and asked about what was going on. I said, well, so they were talking. They're like, well, he's a paranormal investigator. You might want to ask him. I said, she goes, well, I don't want anybody in my house. Fine. That's your choice. That's no big deal. I've had that happen. So we'll look at what's going on. Let's look at it from an outsider's view. So the first thing I did was I pulled the deed of the land.
Okay.
The deed of the land was pretty straightforward. It was supposed to stay a farm forever, according to the original deed.
Okay.
And it was signed. Well, back in 1775, oh, wait a minute, that's the time of the American Revolution. Oh, that's what we're celebrating today. Not everybody could write. So how did they sign it?
I don't know. How?
They got their thumb. They
Thumbprint?
cut it.
Thumbprint.
Yeah. So if you look at an old deed, any of the lawyers listening that go deed research, that red blop is blood and usually something else mixed together.
Wow.
So that pretty much imprinted on it. And it said not supposed to leave the family, and it's supposed to stay a farm forever, pretty much. It didn't use a lot more fancier terms, but we're...
So I'm guessing that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. About 14 generations later, the last owners died off, and the kids said, well, we live in wherever. We don't want the farm anymore. We're going to sell it.
Right.
Well, that was the time of the building boom. So guess what happened to the back 100+ acres?
Multiple housing.
Multiple housing. Beautiful homes. So the house on the main road, the 1774 5 house, is starting to have issues. And the first house is having issues. It's the lady in the first house that showed up, too. They want to know why.
Yeah.
So I looked at an old picture of the farmstead. Well, the old barn was right where the old first house is.
Yeah, okay.
Then I looked at the death records of what I could find. Now, today you die, they bury you. Well, you could be buried in the wintertime, but you better shell out a little bit more because it's going to be a little bit more money because they got a jackhammer and a permafrost. Well, in the 1700s, they didn't have jackhammers. How did they dig those graves? By hand. Well, you're not going to dig through frost.
No.
So they didn't have holding crypts, a lot of these graveyards, so they would bury them in the yard. Now, there's only two places in December, January, February, probably November to say March you're going to bury. Where are those two places?
I'm not sure, Tom. Where would that
One
be?
would be in the basement.
In the basement?
Yep. And the other one would be out in the barn.
Oh, okay.
Well, the house where the barn was had a lot of paranormal activity in it.
Probably buried.
Probably the old man that
is in the barn.
Was in the barn. Can't prove it because there's no burial records like you have today.
Right.
But, I mean, we run into that. We did another house in Exeter where we caught a full body apparition, where even though there was a family graveyard in the back of the lawn, I had a funny feeling something was buried in the basement.
So, but what you're saying is that a natural death buried in that basement, if for some reason that person's spirit is not happy, it sticks around.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
Or it could be happy for years, and then all of a sudden something changes in the house.
Yeah, then the great grandson sells the property,
right?
And I'm not happy anymore. So, all right, we got to take a short break, but we'll talk more about this and other things if somebody has a question or wants to join us. 978-374-1900 is our number here on the Open Mic Show. I'm Bill Macek, talking with Tom Spitalere, Ghostbuster extraordinaire, and you're from Essex County
Ghost Projects,
right here on the Open Mic Show on 97.9 FM.
Open Mic!
Bill Macek and the Open Mic Show will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900.
It's 7:32.
This time could have been your time. Support 97.9 WHAV local service with your announcement on FM radio. Go to WHAV.net and click advertising to reach thousands of new customers. On air 24/7 and online all the time. 97.9 WHAV. Did you know radio still reaches more than 93% of people of every age, every week? It's a fact. 97.9 WHAV Merrimack Valley audience averages 93% of everyone. As other media cuts back, folks in our area are turning to 97.9 WHAV for local news, information, and the best music anywhere. And 97.9 WHAV listeners know our business messages are more credible, more trustworthy than other advertising. Learn how 97.9 WHAV connects your business with more people than all other local media combined. Call 978-374-1900, 374-1900, or online anytime at WHAV.net.
Wave weather!
Now your wave weather forecast for Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley. Wind advisory running through Tuesday early morning. Mainly cloudy skies tonight, becoming partly cloudy late. Very windy with 15 to 25 miles per hour sustained. Gusts over 50 at times. Low 37, so it's going to really feel cold. We recover back through the 50s, becoming fully sunny for your Tuesday. A 20 to 30 mile per hour wind at times. Temperatures drop back into the mid-30s, mainly clear and less windy Tuesday night, wall-to-wall sunshine topping out at 60 on Wednesday. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
WHAV Open Mic!
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
And we're back on the Open Mic Show. Bill Macek along with Tom Spitalere for the balance of this 7 o'clock hour. Right now it's 7:33, and if you'd like to join us, we're talking about Ghostbusters and paranormal. Is that the right word?
Yes.
Paranormal
investigators.
And so if somebody has a feeling that something's going on in their house, you could confirm that?
We have ways of doing that. We have psychics, we have mediums, we have equipment.
And can you also shoo them on?
Well, yes, we do pass them on, and sometimes if they're attached to something, I don't have a problem with taking that attached box out of the instrument.
Can you tell me a story or two?
Yeah,
about
actually, I
that
can.
You had to work hard to get them to move on. And do they go someplace else? Do they move next door?
No. We try to move them back over the other side.
Okay.
I will not push a spirit out of one house and go throw it in another house. I know some people will do that, but I don't believe in that.
You move them to the other side.
We got to move them to the other side. I don't want spirits roaming all over this land and bugging everybody else. We had a case in Bradford once. A girl called me up, and we're having all sorts of paranormal issues.
Yeah.
And what happens? Well, she was in for Fat Tuesday in Louisiana. You ever been down there? That's the jazz festival capital of the world. You're a musician.
Well, I've been to New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a little long-time tradition of getting beads around your neck.
Yeah.
She went down this alleyway. This tall guy was there with a black trench coat, and she got the beads.
Yeah.
Got back to the hotel room, and he was in the lobby.
Uh-oh.
Walked around the area. He was all over the place. Got on the plane to fly back to Haverhill. Well, Boston first, then to Haverhill. Guess what? He was on the plane. Then he ended up in our condo. Well, after going there, figuring things out, I figured he was attached to the beads. He was. So I took those beads out of the house, and there went the dark entity in spirit.
No kidding.
Never to be bothered again and never to be seen again. It's locked safely away.
Now, are most spirits, when you see them, if somebody sees them, are they a little translucent, or they look like you and I do?
Some of them look like you and I do, and some don't. Some you might see an upper body of them, like from the stomach up to the head.
Yeah.
And some of them you might just see the head. You'll see a lot of different things. Another great one we did was down in southeastern Massachusetts. And it was one of my least favorite toys to play with growing up as a kid. It's caused more problems for people than I never know what to do with.
The Ouija board?
The Ouija board.
I had one.
You had one? Oh.
I had one.
Well, we went down to southeastern Massachusetts, and my co-founder and Sweetie, who's listening, I know she is. She's homesick tonight, or she would have been on the other side of the glass waving all the time.
Hope you feel better.
Yeah. Caitlin, she actually did this herself. I just took the box because she doesn't like that stuff. She actually shut down the whole Ouija board for me. And then we locked that one away.
How did she shut it down?
Using salts and using energy. We locked it down and then salted it up and put it into a case. And now it's safely stored.
So even when I was a little kid, and put your fingers on the little thing.
The pochette. Yeah.
There was no Is it electricity from your body that move? What do you think really moves that?
Well, it's another strong of divination, and we used the British version of the Ouija board called glass divination to close portals. That's putting a glass on the table, finger barely on top of it. And I've done plenty of those sessions and getting some great reviews and answers back from the other side.
Yeah.
And shut portals. It's all about intent. The Ouija board itself is just a tool, just like a pendulum, just like any other tool you use or a hammer in your toolbox. It's how you use the hammer. When you bang a nail into the wall to hang a picture up and you keep missing the head of the nail, what's going to happen to the wall?
We're going to get dented up, probably.
Dented up and destroyed if you hit it. Same with a Ouija board. If you use it properly and close the door afterwards, you're fine. But if you don't use it properly and you leave that door wide open, it's like leaving your door open in the wintertime with the heat on. What happens at the end of the month with the heating bill?
So you think more spirits?
Yeah, they'll just keep coming in.
And come in?
Yes.
Interesting.
And using a Ouija board to go get a hold of a lost loved one. Or
no, I don't remember. Is there an off or something that the thing goes to off or what?
I never used one, so I really don't know if somebody's used one. Call in.
Yeah, call in. Right, 978-374-1900.
I would never use one because if you don't close the door right, it'll bring anything in. Not only that, if you're having a bad day. Okay, and we all have them.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean who you are.
Yeah.
And you're agitating, you're using the Ouija board to contact something good. You may not contact that something good. Grandma, ma, pa, whoever.
Yeah, we had different questions we'd come up with.
You may end up contacting something that's masking as mom, dad, any of those rock and roll stars that died.
I mean, sometimes you get a yes, sometimes you get a no, sometimes you get a maybe.
Yeah. And sometimes
what about the ball? Remember the old little black ball that you'd ask?
Oh, the 8-ball. I don't know much about those.
Well, you don't think those are spiritual?
I don't think they're anything. I just think they're a game.
Yeah, all right.
But we've had a lot of work to do with Ouija boards and cleaning up messes like that.
Interesting, yeah.
But it is an interesting field because you get to help people. Right now I have 3 open cases and 1 pending. That's how busy we are.
Wow.
And a fundraiser coming up May 11th, a ghost hunt at Hilldale Cemetery.
May 11th, the ghost hunt at Hilldale Cemetery.
Yep, it's the second Saturday in May.
Yeah, now is that something that people have to get advance tickets?
Nope, they can it's a donation only.
Okay, so just
there's
show
no ticket price. Just
what
show
time?
up.
What time?
Let's see, May 11th. So probably 7:30. We'll open the gates around 7:15.
Kind of like dusk.
Yeah,
Dusk.
we'll open the gates around 7:15, and I'll pay attention. If it's a cloudy night, we'll start at 7:30.
Make a donation,
7:45. And then you get a historical tour and a haunted tour of the cemetery.
Bring a flashlight.
Bring any recording devices, a camera. You can bring your cell phone if you want. If you're not that deep into it and you want to learn a little bit, just bring your cell phone because you can use a cell phone for just about anything.
Just about.
You can record. It's got machines on there.
Photos.
Yeah. Audio.
Yeah.
Use that pretty much anything.
Isn't it amazing, huh? So, all right. So, tell me some more stories. I'm really interested. I love the stories, Tom. I love to hear the.
You know what? The most interesting stories I get aren't these. Now,
if somebody's killed in a house, you have to actually let people know if there was a violent killing in a house. You have to let people know when you sell that house.
Correct. Most people don't know that. That's a state law.
Right.
So if that's not on there.
So if you bought a house that's, I'll say it, haunted, and you weren't told in advance of a killing, you could probably reverse that transaction.
You can.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to go to, it's not going to be done overnight, but,
But
you could get it done.
Yeah.
Because that is state law. That's one of those quirky laws that the
And the realtor's on the line, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's on the line on that one.
Yeah.
Because the realtor should have been doing
Should have disclosed, right. Yeah.
I mean, I know realtors are busy. But it's not just the paranormal they don't disclose. They don't even disclose if a house is historically registered. Or I got a good one. I did a house in Bradford recently.
Yeah.
A lot of paranormal activity. So I looked at the deed of the house. The deed said it was 1934, 35. I forgot. It was somewhere in the 30s.
Yeah.
I looked at the foundation and laughed. I went in the basement, looked up, and laughed even harder. So I did some research at the Haverhill Public Library. I got the house back to 1899.
Is that
and
right?
I'm still researching it.
Yeah.
So I don't know where this deed came from, but it was.
Well, where's the older deed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one did their homework.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like, and a lot has to do, I think, with the way the housing market is. I don't blame this totally on. I mean, you put a house on the market, it's like 3 weeks later, it's for sale. It's
but
gone.
when you buy a house, there is something called a title search.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be done.
Yeah, and I think they're rushing them because how fast these houses. Look how fast they're staying on the. Well, it's slowed down a little bit, but the last 2-3 years, look how fast they're on the market for. Sometimes just a week and they're gone.
That's true. Sometimes just a day.
And just a day. And these people, some of these people been living, because they sold their house, they're living in apartments or a hotel or something. They want to get in. So how much research can you get done? Especially if you got 3 or 4 or 5.
There's no good reason
There's
to
not
not
a good
do
reason.
quality title searching.
It just means you got to slow the sales down or something. Get it done.
There are professionals that are title search individuals.
Right, they can get them done.
They live at the registry.
Right.
And they know how to, they get them done.
Yeah, they get them done. It doesn't, I've done title searches.
Right.
It doesn't take that long. And I'm not a professional. I'm just a trained historian. I don't do it every day, but if I did it every day, I would know what books and what aisle they're in and everything else. I'd have memorized. You boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But that, that happens all the time. We get these cases like this all the time. We're working on a 250-year-old farmhouse up in Chester, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
It's got animal spirits, Native American spirits. We were walking out in the yard, and one of the EVPs, which is electric voice phenomena, one of my guys had 2 recorders going at the same time in 2 different locations. One, you could clearly hear it was a shot, and I'm not going to say a gunshot because I later found out it was a musket shot.
Yeah.
And the other recorder at the same time picked it up.
Well, isn't a musket a gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a little different than the guns of today.
Than a gun of today, right.
Right. So you know if it's a musket, most likely it's
old.
It's old.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if it's a gunshot, it still could be old. It could be an old hunting shot, but the musket just put it into perspective.
It does. Hey, we're going to take another short break, and then we'll take it right up till 8 o'clock. I'm talking to Tom Spitalere. He's a paranormal ghost hunter, and he does all kinds of things related with the spirits, and he can help you out. If you have any concerns or any questions, you can call him, and we'll get into his contact information in a little bit, but maybe you can call us tonight when we come back, 978-374-1900, right here on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open Mic!
Bill Macek and the Open Mic Show will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900.
Hear live and local talk with Bill Macek on the Open Mic Show. Monday evenings at 6 here on 97.9 WHAV. And see it live online at WHAV.tv and on Facebook. Your only Haverhill-based news source is The Wave, 97.9 WHAV.
That we deliberate and achieve with wisdom and understanding, recognizing the rights of all of our citizens with full regard for the dignity and justice of the individual.
Each week, WHAV News brings you live gavel-to-gavel coverage of the Haverhill City Council. Listen to 97.9 WHAV FM each Tuesday night at 7 when the City Council is in session from the Theodore A. Pelosi Jr. City Council Chambers in City Hall. Presented as a public service from 97.9 WHAV FM.
Catch the wave, WHAV. Open Mic!
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Okay, we are back for our final segment on this Monday night on the Open Mic Show. We're here every Monday night from 6 until 8 p.m., and I just want to mention just one more thing, Tom, that if anybody has a birthday or an anniversary of somebody they know in the month of May, we have this little thing giving away a cake from LBD's second-generation Italian bakery and located on South Main Street in Bradford. And I just want to give it a little promotion in case somebody wants to call in. They don't have to come on this segment of the show. They can talk right to our producer, Chris, at 978-374-1900. Get the name into the hat. We'll be doing a drawing on the last Monday of every month for this great cake giveaway from LBD's second-generation Italian bakery. All right, now we're back to the spooky stuff, Tom. All right, so what else do you want?
That's not real spooky stuff. It's interesting.
Do you ever
stuff.
get like, oh no? Like, do you ever get like a little afraid?
No. But I will tell you this. Everybody on my team has a laugh over this one. Horror movies scare the living daylights out of me.
They do, huh?
But I'll go deal with a demonic,
a real one.
Checkerboard or
something
along that line.
More real to life, but the movies get you. Huh?
The movies get me.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know why. But I have seen a few horror movies. I went to see The Conjuring twice.
Yeah.
That was based on a true story out of Harrisburg, Rhode Island. The first one, the Johnson boys got.
How many movies are actually have a factual base? Do you think most of them do, or do you think people just use their imagination, the writers?
I think the writers use a lot of imagination because actually when the Hunting in Connecticut came out, with Ed and Lorraine Warren actually investigated that, but they had their nephew, John Zaffis, with them, a.k.a. the Haunted Collector.
Ah.
All right.
Okay.
I had John at the Tenney Gatehouse doing a fundraiser. Essex County Ghost Project has raised can't remember right now, but quite a few thousands of dollars for nonprofits throughout this region.
Now you have like
and we don't take a dime.
Paranormal fairs where people can come to, and those kind of things going on too, right?
Yes.
Now, if somebody wanted to contact you or find out more,
they want to contact me. We do have a website, we do have a Facebook page, but the best way to get a hold of me, because Bill, as you know, I'm not a busy guy.
Yeah, you never stop, Tom. But
the best way to get a hold of me is my secret private ghost hunting phone number at 978-376-2807.
Is that the number I call you on?
Yeah.
All right. So if somebody can't find you, just call me and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'll put you in touch with Tom.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just Google Tom Spitalere and you'll find my cell phone number and
a whole lot of
stuff.
stuff.
A whole lot of stuff. Yeah. But like I was saying earlier, in that movie, A Haunting in Connecticut, I had John Zaffis at the gatehouse, a packed gatehouse. He was talking about the movie. We took a break. His phone rang. His friends are calling him up saying, I didn't know you had cancer. How come you never told me?
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Well, the character John played in the movie
had cancer.
Oh,
jeez.
And none of us have ever seen ectoplasm. And they had ectoplasm in the movie. So they do take a lot of, even the Harrisburg, Rhode Island case, the Conjuring one, there were a lot of liberties taken there.
Poetic liberty, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, they call it poetic liberty.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why the movies are well attended.
Yeah, and they say it's usually based on
fact, huh?
Right.
Yeah, based on fact.
Based on the case files of A, B, and C, or based on factual evidence of whatever.
Right, but they'll put the disclaimer in that that it was not written about anybody, any place, or anything.
Right.
You know, and names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, I guess, you know, I have run into, I think when I was, you know, much younger, maybe I was more tuned then. There were times that I was a little spooked on things I thought I saw, you know, looking in a barn or an attic or something. But there was somebody that I knew, and she and her husband lived in a very old home right on the Canadian border. And they knew the old woman who had lived her whole life in that house before she passed away. And they bought the house. But the woman swore to me that woman was still there, and that, like, at times in the bedroom, she would find like an outfit laid out on the bed, or vice versa, that she would put washed, folded clothing on the bed, and when she went back later on, it was already in the drawers. Do you think that stuff really happens?
Oh, yeah.
That can happen, huh?
Oh, yeah. Anything in the paranormal is possible. I mean, it's more than what you see in the news.
And they weren't afraid of her.
No, because
they just felt that she was still existing.
A lot of spirits,
in a spiritual way, yeah.
Right. A lot of spirits are not negative. Just because your keys disappear, you don't have a demon in your house.
So when I lose something and then all of a sudden it shows up, you think that maybe somebody's helping me?
It could be. I mean, you never know. I mean,
somebody's playing with me to begin with?
We live in a world where, you know, some of these spirits don't recognize 2019. They're living in, like,
olden times.
Client says they walk through that wall. Then I go look at the wall and go, oh, look, because of my training.
Right.
Oh, look, there was a door here.
Yeah.
So they're still walking in this house like it was, say, 1930s or 1890s. Now there's a wall there.
Yeah.
There was a door there.
Yeah.
So those spirits are still living in their time. They don't even recognize that you're there.
Yeah.
Your house could be haunted, for example, and they walk through this wall.
Could be.
And they go, well, say you lived in an older house or even a newer house.
Yeah,
it doesn't even matter.
My house is a little newer, but
right. But
I'll make sure that I don't change any doorways.
But you never know who's going to change the doorway for what reason.
Yeah.
You know, house is added on to. You don't need that doorway because now there's another doorway.
True. Yeah.
So those spirits are still living in that time frame when they lived in the house. They don't even know you exist.
Wow.
So you're living like an interdimensional system.
So it's very interesting. Now, how about your cemetery? Is there? Have you seen any spirits?
It's the 13th most haunted graveyard in New England. One of the 13.
Top
it's number
13?
3, actually.
Really?
Yep, in the book called 13 Most Haunted Graveyards by Sam Beltrusis. That we've had heads coming out of the ground, lady in white, plenty of shadow figures.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to come at night then to your event, but I'll think about it.
It's a fun night.
Do you remember the Countess down on East Broadway?
Yes. Actually, I've been out that way on East Broadway.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her, but I have felt the presence in the East Broadway Cemetery. I've been in that cemetery. Maplewood's got some great. I've got some great photos out of Maplewood, the Jewish Cemetery, Pentucket Graveyard.
Wow.
We got some great photos on them, too.
So you take pictures and you get images.
Images. We got one holding a gun at Maplewood. I didn't get to take the picture.
Now, where's Maplewood?
Maplewood's
up
up
in
there.
Plasto?
No. Maplewood's, is it Maplewood? The one in northern Essex, in the Diamond, where Lydia Eyre is buried.
Oh, yeah, okay. I know the cemetery. A good friend of mine is in that cemetery, yeah. I don't know the exact name either.
Yeah, but in there we caught somebody with a rifle. It was a smoky shadow figure. It wasn't a solid one like looking at you and I.
Was it a rifle or a musket?
Probably a musket. Yeah.
I
know. Probably it was when I first started. I had done a multiple graveyard tour with UK psychic Gavin Cromwell. We ended up at Hilldale, but we did Pentucket, that one, and then there.
Now, how about your psychic fairs? Are those coming up, or any ones you want to mention?
We don't have any coming up right now, but in the next year we'll have another one in Kittery, and Steve Fermani, who's a special consultant to MUFON, who's the ufologist for Essex County Ghost Project. Essex County Ghost Project and a few other people to be named later are putting on a UFO festival for the first time next year, where funds will go to nonprofits. We haven't figured that. We haven't done the logistics yet, but we're getting there.
Because there was, when I was younger, there was talk about UFOs in the area.
Yes.
Too. That's more when Pease Air Force Base was around.
Well, actually, we got a minute here. Family that I've known for years, and I worked for them for years, and 1963, she saw one go over her house in Riverside. Not shortly the time she gave me, shortly before that, there was a sighting on Washington Street in Methuen, which is right in my backyard.
Yeah.
That's published in the Ernie Mac's.
Wasn't there supposed to be a spaceship that took a person or a couple people in Exeter? Again, I'm going back probably
that was a sighting
60s.
in Exeter, but the one I think you're referring to is the Betty and Bonnie Hill story up north on Route 3. They were coming home.
Okay.
Down in southern New Hampshire.
All right.
And they were abducted up near Indian Head Hotel. In fact, the state put a New Hampshire State Historical Society put a New Hampshire State historical marker on the front lawn of the Indian Head Motel. Thanks to Mike Stevens of Granite Sky. UFO helping group. He actually fought real hard to get that. I know Mike Stevens. He's out of Stratham.
Really? Yeah.
He fought real hard to get that sign up.
So safe to say we're not alone.
We're not alone on any portal. Bigfoot, UFO, Birdman. In fact, in the early 80s, President Ronald Reagan was flying over the Bridgewater Triangle, and two UFOs got up near Air Force One. By the time they scrambled the Air Force out of Pease, they were gone.
Really? Wow. Well, great, interesting stories, I'll tell you. What about ships? We have a minute left. How about haunted ships?
Haunted ships. There's one that was written by John Greenleaf Whittier out in Cape Ann. Right off of Magnolia. It was an old ship that sunk.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've actually seen that ship at night. Because my friend lived right in Magnolia, right on the cliff next to him.
But it's
Castle.
sailing. It's buoyant. It's not sunk. You're seeing it like a vision of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Saw it tonight. I stayed at a couple times. I stayed at my friend's house out there.
Well, I want to thank you, Tom, for coming in and all the stories and all the time, all the expertise you have with the paranormal.
Right, but it's also great to have a great team and a great co-founder. I know Caitlin's listening. I know Lindsay, the other manager's listening. So without them, it takes a team to get this type of work done.
No person stands alone.
Right, not one. It's too dangerous for one.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Thank you for coming in, and always enjoy our conversations.
Yes.
Tom Spitalere from Essex County, what is it?
Ghost Project.
Ghost Project.
Yeah.
And And you could give your number one more time.
978-376-2807. That's my secret government telephone number. Just
good.
kidding.
All right. Thanks again, Tom.
No problem.
All right. This is Bill Macek on the Open Mic Show every Monday night, 6 to 8. You can listen to the Open Mic. You can join in anytime by giving us a call. And we'll be back again next Monday night right here on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open Mic!
Join Bill Macek live on the Open Mic Show again next Monday night at 6. The opinions expressed on the Open Mic Show are not necessarily those of 97.9 WHAV FM, its underwriters, or affiliated stations. The Open Mic Show came to you from the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom.